My fiance and I rarely have sex. Hi, and welcome to the SaVeg podcast.
I'm Rose, also known as Cheap Lazy Vegan on YouTube.
And I'm Daniel, one of your favorite guest stars on Cheap Lazy Vegan's YouTube channel.
We're two friends who love to talk about the latest trending topics.
So get comfortable and join us while we give our SaVeg take on just about everything.
You are currently listening to the previous episode of this podcast, but if you would like to listen to this week's episode and get some exclusive content, go over to patreon.com/thesavagepodcast. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the SaVeg podcast.
We're back again, guys.
With a pre-recordation.
We only recorded this week's episode 5 minutes ago, and now we're on a pre-recordation.
You mean we recorded last week's episode 5 minutes ago?
Well, actually, it won't even be last week's. It'll
be 2 weeks.
Or 3 weeks.
Anyways.
Depending on the release date.
We are doing a pre-recordation once again because...
Yeah. Well, because, guys, we are committed to this podcast.
Yes, we are very committed to this podcast. I love the optimism, Daniel.
Yes, and if you think about it, in our fucking 4 years or 5 years of doing this almost.
Which is so insane.
It's insane. We've only skipped a handful of weeks.
Look at us justifying so many things.
Exactly. There's only been a few times where we're like, okay, guys, we're taking this week off or whatever. And there's a lot of stuff happening in the next couple of weeks. Both of us are traveling and doing shit.
We're committed to the podcast, you guys.
And we're like, fuck, we calculate
Tell
how many...
your friends.
Exactly. Tell your friends, tell your family.
Yeah.
Tell everyone.
Tell everyone because we need more listeners like you. Anyway, guys, we're pre-recording because I'm going away once again.
Yep.
Daniel's also away.
I'm also away.
So we're doing some pre-recordations, which means you guys get the Reddit episodes, which a lot of you love.
Yes.
So this week we decided to do Dating Over 30 subreddit.
Well, because some of us are over 30, right?
Just some of us.
Just some of us.
And it's basically like a subreddit where people over 30 write their dating questions or issues, and we can just chime in, give our very professional dating advice.
Yes.
Because
from people,
we are very skilled.
We're very, you date for so many years, for so long, you do become an expert in the field. We don't have to talk about the successfulness or track records, but...
the active dating aspect makes you an expert.
And I've been on a lot of dates.
Oh, God.
A lot of dates.
Imagine if we kept count of how many dates.
I kind of think we should have. We should have that would be a bestseller. We got to write a book.
Did you ever write it in your calendar? Like a little I have a date with whoever.
No.
I could probably go back and look at my Google Calendar to see, because I would have the guy's name or something.
See, the thing is, you're way more organized with your Google Calendar than I am because this is the thing. I have obviously my work life where I have a work calendar, and my work calendar is very organized.
Sure.
Right? I know when I'm meeting, I put all kinds of stuff.
Totally.
I even put personal stuff in there too, but I don't make it public. I'll be like, oh, I know I'm getting a massage on this day and everything else. And sometimes I'll put it on my Google Calendar.
Okay.
But I feel like I'm better at using my work calendar.
Because the thing is, it's because you're at work 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
So I feel like when I worked a 9 to 5, I was also very organized when it comes to my calendar.
Yeah. Your work calendar, right? But it's because
But I've always had a personal calendar. How do you not have a personal calendar?
No, I do.
Okay.
I just don't. I put stuff in it, but I'm not as religious, I guess.
Right.
And things like dates and things like that, I don't always put them in there. If I'm
But you just remember.
Yeah, or if I'm meeking friends, I'll be like, okay, I know I have a dinner that night.
Really?
Now because life has gotten crazy, I've started putting things in there. But when I was younger, I would kind of remember. I'd be like, okay, I know. But then I did have some fuck ups where I was supposed to go for dinner one night, totally forgot, and people be like, where are you? Things like this. So
this is what I'm afraid of.
Yeah.
Okay. So I keep a very meticulous track of my schedule.
I wish there was a way, and obviously corporations aren't going to let you do this, but I wish there was a way to sync your work calendar with your personal.
I'm sure there is.
Because there'll probably be you'll have client names in there and all kinds of stuff which you can't share that data.
I see.
But I wish there was an easy way to without having to
You know what the easy way is, Daniel? Just open up Google Calendar, just add an event. It takes literally 3 seconds.
Okay.
Anyway, so we're gonna react to Dating Over 30.
But before we do that, guys, If you're not already, do not forget to check out our Patreon at patreon.com/the SaVeg podcast. We do exclusive episode every single month. You get access to the exclusive library. Everything is ad free on there. You get the episodes a week before everyone else. And it's just a fun little community.
Yeah. And we often do, for the exclusives, we often do these Reddit ones.
Yes.
Which people love. So if you love the Reddit, Am I the Asshole episodes or the Dating Over 30 or Dating Advice episodes.
Lots of extra ones in there.
Yeah, lots of extra ones in there. And you can go way back into the archives. Yeah. So much extra content.
There's also some about our personal dating stories.
Yes, we need to do an update on that.
Oh, goddamn.
But that's going to go into the Patreon.
That will be an exclusive.
That is private information.
Exactly.
Okay. Anyways, so shall we jump in?
I think we shall, guys. So we are, like Rose says, we're looking at stories for dating over 30.
Okay.
And we're going to dive in. Rose is going to go first.
Yeah. So the reason we like to do the dating over 31 is because there's a more popular subreddit. It's called Dating Advice.
Yeah.
But oftentimes we find, we can maybe take a look on there.
Yeah.
But oftentimes we find that it's very
childish. She wouldn't hold my hand.
Yes.
We went to the supermarket.
Yeah. So it's to the point where I'm like, I can't take this seriously.
Yeah.
Which is bad, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
Anyways.
But also when those things happen, when somebody just always thinks that they're right, even though they're some of those situations is black and white and they're like, that person's really in the wrong.
Yeah.
But then they think they're right and they'll write something like, am I the asshole?
Yeah.
Asking people if they're the asshole when clearly they are.
Yeah.
It's like, it must be nice to live in such a state of delusion.
Yeah.
Just always thinking you're right. Never, just being that complete narcissist. Honestly.
Shall we get started?
Yes, we shall.
Okay. So, Dating Over 30 Reddit. Do I bring anything to the dating market, specifically by U.S. standards?
The US be an interesting market, that's for sure.
Hi all, I'm a 30-year-old male living in the US in a very conservative religious state. I'm originally from India, but have been in the US since 2015. I am having zero luck dating. Here is my profile. For some perspective, here's my relationship background. I think maybe he had his dating profile on here, but then it got removed.
Yeah.
Anyways, for some perspective, here is my relationship background. I'm a virgin. As with the majority of men from India, Majority of men from India are virgins? Is that true?
I don't know.
Anyway, he's 30 years old. Anyway, I'm a virgin. As with the majority of men from India, my only goal was to study. Oh, so maybe that's what he means.
Yeah.
He's a virgin, period.
Yeah.
As with the majority of men from India, my only goal was to study and be financially successful.
Yes. Okay. That makes
I have
more
never
sense.
even held hands with a girl. My friends, colleagues, and friends tell me I am emotionally mature, but do not have the flirting/expressing interest game. I'm very calm to the point that some will find me boring. I am judgmental about casual sex and only interested in long-term relationships with the intention of marriage and family. I'm financially very secure, have both outdoor and indoor hobbies, and can hold a conversation very well. My white friends here have sincerely told me that my attitude and my values are a complete mismatch with people here. I also do not fit the typical Western male physical characteristics. I am not trying to be crass here, but I want the honest truth. I would really appreciate it if you could keep the American niceties out. So niceties? Is that a word?
Yeah.
Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
Basically being overly nice for no reason.
Yeah.
So he wants the
sugarcoating it.
He wants the harsh truth, no sugarcoating.
He wants the Rose reality.
What do you think, Daniel?
The Rose special.
What do you think?
Is that the whole thing?
That's the thing. Well, he wrote, thanks for... Okay, well, do you want me to read the edit? Okay, so he has an edit based on people's responses. He said, edit, thank you so much for the feedback. I'm really not sorry for not interacting, blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. This post has been humbling and uplifting at the same time. Some major points I want to address. I'm in no way looking for a trad wife. Oh, there you go. We talked about this last episode. I'm in no way looking for a trad wife by any means. It is infantilizing women, and I frankly value ambition very high. Blah, blah, blah. I'm a very polite person, very particular on manners and respecting others, and wanted someone close to my values. A lot of you suggested arranged marriage. I understand and get your point, but throughout my life, I did what I was supposed to do, what I should do. But in this In this, I want to find my own way, have an organic connection, blah, blah, blah. I do not have a preference for religion, but I love extended family. I want to assimilate, so somebody from the US is preferable. I'm attracted to curvy, blue-eyed, blonde women the most. Interesting. Okay. I am trying to reply to the majority of comments, blah, 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 blah. Another edit. One, I know so many edits. One, not a single person noticed that I am a tenure track professor at a public research university. That hurt, but it shows the shallowness. I don't know what that means. I don't know where he said that. Or maybe it was comments in his profile.
Yeah, because then also maybe because it sounded like he had pictures on there.
Yeah, maybe.
And he wanted people to be harsh and real. And maybe once we get to the comment section, we'll see how harsh the real people were. But
it says, in spite of women, majority, not all, claiming that they want a dependable, committed partner, majority of the comments were geared towards attractiveness and the mythical spark. He sounds like an interesting character.
So, food for thought before we dive into the comments. So, my hot take.
What's your hot take, Daniel?
Okay, so everything he's saying sounds pretty good. Like what he's saying, like he's into like lots of activities,
right?
All this sort of thing. But I really feel like what I'm picking up from this, and maybe this is just from my interpretation of you reading that out to me, but like I get this undertone of like quite a lot of judgment and a lot of like, you know, he mentioned about like sleeping around and all this other stuff. And it's like, well, hang on a second. Like it seems to me like, yeah, I'm not saying like, you know, if somebody's like super promiscuous, maybe that's not in line with his values. But at the same time, like there are people out there that maybe by the time they're 30, the kind of age that he'd be dating, they might have slept with a few people as part of like life. And, you know, I feel like he has this almost like negative connotation with that. And I think that could be part of it. It's like he has all these other great things that he's doing, but I do feel like overall I get this not just around the promiscuity. It's around quite a few little things that he said where I'm like, seems like he's a little bit judgmental.
Yeah.
Like there's something there that's giving me this feeling like he could probably meet a really nice girl and then like quickly, you know, based on maybe what her lifestyle or certain things where he's like, oh, you know, I don't know. That's just the vibe that I'm getting personally.
Right.
I didn't see we didn't see his profile or anything. What about you, Rose? Like, what do you think?
Well, I mean, the edit number 2 is what's really throwing me off. The way that he said, not a single person noticed that I'm a tenure track professor, but that shows the shallowness.
But this is what I mean about again, his shit. What did I just say? His fuck.
His what? His attitude, his credentials, his demeanor, his judgmental behavior.
Yeah, his judgmentalness. He has this like, and even then, even by him saying that, it shows you that he has this like preconceived like around, you know, he mentioned about the, you know, promiscuity is one thing that he mentioned. There's something else as well. The fact that he goes, oh, not one single person mentioned that I'm a professor. Right?
Yeah.
Which shows you that sort of status and stuff is important to him.
Of course.
Right? Like,
yeah.
And it's like, it's something that he's like, well, and everyone's just talking about the shallowness, but then he says, oh, you know, the type of women he likes are curvy, blonde-haired, blue-eyed girls.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
You're talking about shallowness. There's this double standard. Like there's some things that are going on that are not adding up.
Yeah. It seems to me, for me, the biggest thing that I took from this is that he's listing out all these characteristics that are kind of very good on paper characteristics, right? Yeah. He's like, oh, I'm financially secure. I have all these hobbies. I can hold a conversation. And all these things, but you're not talking about how are you with, like, how do you treat women?
Yeah.
How are you with women? Have you even talked to a woman?
Yeah.
It sounds like you have here's the thing. You can have all the, you know, financials in the world. You can have education, all of these things. But if you've never dated or if you've never really like conversed with the opposite sex or if you've never really, if you don't have relationship skills, you haven't had a relationship skills. And it almost seems like maybe you haven't had, you know, friendships, like I don't know what it is, right?
Yeah.
People skills is so important, especially with dating, because that's literally what it is. Like you're dealing with other people.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can be financially successful, but if you don't have relationship or you don't have skills with other people, that's going to be a problem.
Exactly.
So he's not mentioning anything about how he treats, you know, women. I don't know if he's even gone on dates, and that's, you know, obviously an issue. But I think like he needs to work on, you know, maybe, you know, meeting more people, generally speaking, And I think his friends, his white friends, apparently, have told him that his attitude and values are a complete mismatch. So there's something he's leaving out.
Exactly. Because this is the thing. I feel like we're both kind of picking up on this. First of all, again, why does he have to signify his white friends?
Yeah.
I do feel like, even though he's like, oh, like I want to meet this girl and blah, 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 like status and all of these things seem to be really important to him, right?
Yeah.
Like the fact that he's a professor, that's a huge thing. People missed it. You know, the fact that he had to emphasize it's his white friends. Like, I don't know about you, but like personally, I don't think that has any relevance in this conversation. Like you just say your friends.
Sure,
there's a mismatch between.
We could say you're like American friends.
You're American friends. Exactly. Exactly. It doesn't have to be like, you know, and I feel like, again, it's saying that if his friends are saying there's a mismatch, we're picking up a mismatch, even from his limited description. Yeah. It's like something's not adding up here. Yeah. There's something missing.
I mean, I'm not saying that, of course, it's going to be tough if you're, you know,
like an immigrant.
I think that has the factor. Like, let's be honest here, you know, but it doesn't mean that it's like impossible. You can still date.
Yeah. There's plenty of multiracial. Mixed race couples. Yeah. That happens all the time, right? Like, so, you know, there's not to say that it doesn't happen, but I think you're right. There's different challenges there with that, right?
So the top comment. Yeah. Someone wrote, I'm also South Asian, so this is a good perspective, and I have a few things to say. First of all, what are you looking to bring to the dating market? You sound like you want something, but you don't know what it is. Are you trying to get a white girlfriend? Be honest with yourself and what you want. By U.S. or North American standards, you are very Indian. Remember that the U.S. generally views Indians like that dude on The Big Bang Theory. I mean, which is also true. There is definitely stereotypes against, like, especially Indian men, or even Asian men generally. There's stereotypes, negative ones. And then this person said, what are you doing to break that stereotype? You got to be more Aziz. Speaking of Aziz Ansari, who's like a comedian and less Apu. Oh my God. I'm in a fairly decent sized urban city. And if you were, it's a different game. If you're in a conservative religious place, you're going to be dealing with a lot of that. That's another factor.
Yeah, that is another factor for sure.
You likely won't fit in and it will be frustrating. Ask yourself if the general vibe there is something you want to be a part of. And if you find yourself at any point disagreeing, you may have to rethink your approach. These are all things I've dealt with. I hope you don't deal with them, but knowing the way that the world works, you probably will. Honestly, dating can be fairly racist, and I see it a lot, but also you have to be picky when it comes to finding your partners, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So, interesting.
Let's see some more comments, Rose.
Let's see. Your friends are right. Your values and attitude are definitely going to be a big mismatch here, at least with educated liberal types. They'd be a better match with religious women, but being foreign and not the same religion is the barrier here. Have you considered an arranged marriage? Blah, blah, blah.
Okay. More on arranged marriages.
God damn. It says, I hate to tell you, but you are going to have a brutal time on the dating apps. Dating app success mostly goes to those of the dominant culture in a geographical area. This is even more true in conservative states. To me, this sounds like your biggest problem. I'm very calm to the point where some will find me very boring. Oh, okay. You need to work on this. How is it that you can hold a conversation well, but still come off as boring to some? Yeah. You sound like an interesting guy with a lot to offer. You're going to have much better luck meeting someone in real life, but coming off as boring simply isn't going to cut it. Interesting. Yeah. I don't know. The dude needs more experience, I think. Ooh. That was fast.
That was, well, I saw it. I was like, this is going to be a funny one. Friend keeps telling me I can do better. I'm a 39 female.
Can you read, Daniel? Let's restart.
What's wrong with me
I
today,
don't know.
guys?
Let's restart, Daniel.
I'm 39 female, queer, though I have exclusively dated men and I'm starting to date other genders. My friend is 32 female, heterosexual. She's white, thin, and very conventionally attractive. I'm black, mid-size, and relatively attractive. We compared dating apps the other day, and she gets more than 10 times the likes and matches I get. She's been spotlighted on Hinge and is overwhelmed with her options. I get maybe 40 to 50 likes each week on Bumble. And
that's quite a lot,
about
isn't
10
it?
Likes on Hinge weekly. Yes, that's a lot. I'm also in the LGBTQ and I get none.
To be fair, Bumble is just like it's like a cesspool.
This is true. And to be fair, she said
10 likes on Hinge isn't that crazy.
Yeah, she said she's queer, but she dates men as like she's
So she's open. Oh, right.
Yeah,
so
she's open.
Her pool is everybody.
Exactly. So I think that also helps.
Does it help though?
She said.
I guess it could help. Yeah.
Yeah. She's like, her friend gets 10 times the likes, so she's getting 40 to 50 likes on Bumble. Her friend's getting like 500 likes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, oh my god. Mm-hmm. Okay. And about 10 likes on Hinge weekly. Twice now, I've showed her some of the guys I'm talking to, and she said, "quote You can do better than them. None of them are on your level of attractiveness. You're settling. Do you realize that?"
Oh.
It kind of stings. First, I find these guys relatively attractive. I'm like demi and sapiosexual. So the connection is more important to me than the initial physical attraction. Second, I also don't get a lot of matches. I don't have many options to choose from. I'm going to pause for a second, guys. Yeah. She's saying she gets 40 to 50 likes a week on Bumble. I get like none. Okay.
Are you on Bumble, Daniel?
Yeah, I'm on everything. And then 10 likes a week on Hinge. Like, honestly, I don't know what city you're in, but that's a fucking ton. I get 0. Anyway, I digress. And so I don't have many options to choose from. I'm not getting hundreds of people interested in me. You're getting a lot still. And third, what does it matter if she finds them attractive or not? It should only matter if I find them attractive, right? Has anyone else dealt with a friend saying this to them? Or have you said this to a friend? She recognizes that she's judgmental, but she also doesn't want me to settle. I'm not sure how to respond to her anymore.
Well, I don't know how, like, is that it?
No, there's an edit.
Okay.
Edit. Thank y'all for your comments.
Thank y'all
for your comments and feedback. I didn't expect to get so many responses. I believe she means well and truly wants the best for me. She's just very... yes, she's very judgmental and blunt. Her delivery could be different. And quite honestly, she could/should say nothing at all. She and I have deeper conversations than just about dating and attractiveness of my potential suitors. She's a good friend. She isn't an entirely shallow or shitty person. I plan on saying something to her if she brings it up again. I will exercise boundaries if it comes to that. But she is overall very respectful of me and other people. This is one quirk about her that I've struggled with recently. You all have given great feedback and I appreciate that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think I would probably talk to her and just be like, well, it doesn't really matter to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. How attractive they are. Because that doesn't really matter.
Exactly. And I also think, like, especially if your friend is like really excited about talking to somebody, like if I was like, oh, I'm really excited about this person. We're having such good conversation.
Well, I don't know if she's excited. She's probably just like, oh, I matched with this guy. Is she excited about them? We don't know.
We don't know.
She's probably like, this is probably what she's doing, right? This is what she's doing. Oh, I matched with this guy. What do you think? And then her friend's probably like, ugh, you could probably do better.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, that's probably what's happening.
Yeah.
So I don't think her friend means it. Although, like, the way that she wrote what her friend said, what did she say again?
You can do better than them. None of them are on your level of attractiveness. You're settling. Do you realize that?
Oh, see, that part, you could leave that part out.
Yeah.
You're settling. You could leave that part out. First of all, you haven't met this guy yet. Mm-hmm. And until you meet them in person, you really don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A picture and some messages doesn't mean shit.
Exactly.
Like, there's been so many people I've met up with that are like completely different.
Exactly.
Look even different a little bit. And like, you're like, this is not, it could be good and bad.
Yeah, and her friend needs to realize that, you know, I'm sure she cares about looks, which is fine. Like, some people care about looks, but some people don't.
Yeah.
And that's fine too. So, like, I don't know. That's weird.
I know. To each their own, like if you're going to somebody and instead of saying like, I don't know what she's saying to her friend, but if she's like, hey, do you think this guy's attractive?
Right.
Then it's like, maybe
that's
like,
different.
No, not really. Like, or like, do you think he's cute or whatever it might be. Right. Versus her being like, you're settling, you're this, you're that. There's like there's nicer ways to go about doing this. Yeah.
I think like the better way to do it is like, you could give your opinion and be like, oh, I mean, he's okay. Like, whatever. I mean, we've done it before. We're like, ugh.
Of course.
Oh, okay. He's okay. Ugh. I don't know. Oh, okay. He's cute. Like, whatever.
Yeah.
You give that opinion. And then later when your friend meets them, then judge them by how your friend felt on the date.
Exactly. And like,
how was the date? How was the guy treating her?
Exactly. And then,
or the girl.
And then when you meet them in person as a friend, you get to meet their partner and you're like, okay, how are they? You know what I mean? Like, okay, are they treating them right? Are they happy in the relationship? All that kind of stuff. Like, there's way more to it. And the thing is, guys, at the end of the day, looks to some degree are important and what you're attracted to, but like, everyone's attracted to different stuff, right? Yep. Like, so like what I find attractive, other people are not going to find attractive maybe. And really at the end of the day, it's like who the person is that either adds to the attractiveness or takes away from it. So like,
yes,
yeah.
So how important are looks to you, Daniels?
Not that important. I'm definitely not the shallow friend.
You are the shallow friend.
I'm not. You know what? I'm opening my horizons, and I've been much better lately.
That's true. You have been a little bit more open to Yes.
I've been like, ooh, who wants to date me? And then I hear radio silence.
Oh my God.
Just kidding, guys. So a couple of the comments here. It's a real shame that your friend takes one glance at these guys and decides none of them are good enough based on their looks. You need to explain that to her that it's hurtful, not only because you don't get as many matches as she does, but because you're attracted to these men, and it doesn't matter if she doesn't personally find them attractive. Your friend sounds mean, and while she's claiming to do this in support of you, it's clearly having the opposite effect.
Dun, dun, dun.
Why can't you tell her what you've said here? If she's your friend, she should
that part's
and
weird
off.
to me. That part is weird. It's like why can't you just like tell her, be like, hey, like,
exactly.
Can we just, just drop it?
It's like funny. Well, it's not funny. I mean, obviously it's great that people do this because then we get content. But at the same time, I'm like, a lot of these, even like relationship ones and stuff, I'm like, why don't you just sit down with your partner and talk about this? Like, why are you putting this on the internet?
That's the thing. It's like a communication issue.
I know. Like, I would never I mean, not that I would never.
That means there's a breakdown in the communication.
Yeah.
Between you and your spouse, you and your friend.
Because you're asking strangers for advice on your friendship.
And they don't know. Exactly. They don't know the situation.
Exactly.
Like, we can give as much advice as we want, but we don't know them, All right. Let's see here. Maybe I can see how dating advice subreddit looks like.
Oh, God damn. We're going down that rabbit hole of the 19-year-olds. See what they're doing.
I wish I could
who's
filter.
Who's pulling whose hair?
Oh, God.
And not in the kinky way.
Let's
go for it, Rose.
One.
Go for it.
How would you split date costs when one person earns 3 times more than you? I've been dating this guy for 2 months now, and he never offers to pay, except on the first date. What? Stop right there.
Hang on a second. Hang on a second.
Stop right there.
Hold the phone.
What the actual hell are you doing? We don't need any more context.
No, he's paid for the first date and then refuses to pay for any others.
That's absolutely
So
insane.
Is she paying every single time they're going out?
Well, let's continue. So never offers to pay, despite him earning a lot more. So he's the one earning more. Interesting. Mm-hmm. Working 2 jobs while I'm still studying, working less, and also getting paid less. Mm. If we go out somewhere to eat, usually his invitation, or to order takeout, he will always assume, we're splitting the bill.
Right.
Okay. So this is the context.
Yeah.
I have no problem with that occasionally, and I'm not expecting him to cover all my costs, but I'd like for him to pay the full bill here and there, or at least offer, especially if he suggests to go. He does always pick me up and take me home with his car, plans dates, is quite a gentleman too, but this thing bothers me a bit, to be honest. At least offer to pay now, and I'll get it the next time, but splitting every time just feels so ridiculous. Very friendly. Yes, I agree. He probably even saw it today on my face when I was apparently visibly annoyed a bit that he didn't offer to pay for my small share of the food that we ordered. Because he started to say right away after I paid for myself that he actually did want to pay and he will get it next time, despite not showing any interest earlier to pay for both of us.
Yeah.
And how he was thinking of inviting me to this place, to this one place he knows anyways. So, what do you think of splitting, Daniel?
So, okay. Hear me out on this one. Obviously, a little different in my world.
In the gay world?
But, I do actually, for a first date, it's kind of like, okay, whoever asks whoever out generally would maybe like pick up the tab. Or what I typically like to do for first dates is not get food and just like go for a couple drinks.
Yeah.
Because then you don't like, it's not a big deal. It's like each person can pay. And then if you do go for dinner, like it's like, and I do think.
So normally on a first date for you.
Yeah.
Do you split the bill?
Yeah, we would do like round for round.
Oh, round for round. Okay.
Yeah,
no, I like the round for round situation.
We would do that. And then typically if it was like a second or third date, like sometimes the other person would pay or sometimes I would pay or sometimes we would split. Like I think for the first couple of dates, I don't mind splitting just because it's like it's new. You don't know where it's going to go with this person. You don't want to make that investment. Which is what it is.
But
everyone's different.
You want, be honest here, Daniel. You want the princess treatment.
Guys, I'm a princess.
You want the guy to pay.
I mean, I would like that, but it just never happens. But the thing is, when you're dating somebody, like, and if I started dating somebody, and like, this is the thing. Okay, yeah, I don't do that often. Like with my friends, like normally we go out, we split the bill, right? But like sometimes if something like happens with my friend that's super exciting, I'll like take them out for dinner.
Oh, sure, yeah, but that's friends.
Exactly. But like with a relationship, it's like if I and this is even coming from me who likes the guy to pay for the first date.
Yeah.
If I'm dating somebody and let's say it's the first month and I'm like really excited and I want to take them to this like restaurant that I love, I want to pay for them.
Right.
Like I want to treat them, but I also want to get treated, you know, like I want it to be a both ways. And like occasionally it'll be like, yeah, we'll just split it. Like it's not a big deal. But like there is some romance behind like them just like picking a place, taking care of everything, you know, and I also want to do that for them though too.
Yeah.
Like,
you're going to do that for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a reciprocal kind of thing.
It's a reciprocal princess treatment.
I only want that treatment on like the first date.
You're
okay.
Such a liar. You want the princess treatment.
I don't. I honestly like. There's like some things that I would like love to like take. Like if I had a partner, like take them and show them, and like I wouldn't mind paying for it. Like so to have a partner that like always insists on splitting everything, like that is a bit of a turnoff.
Okay, here's my take as a woman. So this is a female to male relationship, right? First of all. This is
especially
just like
because he makes so much more money.
Well, okay. Do you think that's a factor though?
I do.
I think that's. I don't know how it is.
Honestly, like let's say you're dating someone that's earning like such a low amount, right?
Right.
It makes it like not saying that she is, but like for example, actually, I was like really pissed. I went out with this one guy when I was in uni, and he was an accountant at like I don't know,
right.
you know,
yeah.
And like we went for dinner. Again. Learn my lesson. Do not do these for first dates.
No dinners on the first dates.
No. And then split the bill, which I'm like, okay, whatever. Like I'll pay for myself. But I was like a university student at the time.
Right.
You're like a fucking accountant, probably making good money. Like you can't pay for both of us.
Did he ask you out?
Yeah.
Yeah. See that.
So anyway, I do think it is somewhat of a factor. Like I think it shouldn't be a factor always, but like it is a factor whether you like it or not. Like in a relationship, like think about like if you're going on trips, doing all sorts of things, like it does come into play a little bit.
Oh yeah, money's a huge thing.
Yeah.
For me, I think it's not about he should pay or he shouldn't pay. You shouldn't split the bill.
Yeah.
It's about what you find to be acceptable and attractive. Yeah. Okay. Because I would hate this. Okay.
Yeah.
If the guy was always like, let's split it. I'm not saying the guy should pay for everything.
Of course not.
But we, you know, oftentimes you'll take turns. You can, you know, the guy can pay for one meal and then maybe you get the drinks after.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is, whatever you feel comfortable with in that relationship is what you should like want, right? Yeah. Like it's totally valid. I think it's such a fucking turn off.
Oh my God.
If the guy's like, oh, let's split the bill, especially if you order something small, just fucking get it. Okay. Yeah. Again, I understand if both of you are tight on money, then I get it. But it sounds like he's not tight on money. It sounds like he's making good money.
He's making good money.
The cheapness is not attractive.
Oh
okay?
God. There's like, honestly, and I'm relatively frugal with my money.
Yeah.
But like there is like when it comes to like going out and stuff and like having nice meals, things like that, like I will spend the money.
Yeah.
And there's nothing more like than a turn off than somebody like really just being like adamant and like very like, you know, the bill comes and it gets awkward and they're like, oh, you know, let's, you know, like it's like just fucking take care of it for me.
Treat me like the princess I am.
But like honestly, like I also really do like I get some thrill from also like taking people out. You know what I mean? Like there's been times.
When's the last time you got a thrill from taking a man out?
More so friends. Like, you know, it was like my friend's like birthday.
Oh, yeah, that's always nice.
Remember when you hit a certain, I can't remember what number it was of subscribers.
We went out for dinner.
I took you out for dinner.
Damn, that'd be
nice
as hell.
I feel nice about that stuff. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. To me, not attractive.
No.
Instant turn off. Are you actually kidding?
Yeah. Oh, I just can't imagine.
But it's like, that's, yeah.
Especially he's the one that's suggesting. He's like, hey, babe, do you want to go out for dinner?
Yeah.
And she's like, okay, sure. And then he's like, okay, cool. We're splitting the bill. Like, well, then I'm staying home then. You go out for dinner.
Yeah, it's weird. Someone wrote, simply refuse to go out to eat, citing the fact that you can't afford it. He can then offer to pay. Some high earners don't often think about money, so aren't aware it's a problem for others. Always choose to communicate what you feel. Nobody can read your mind. Interesting. Okay.
And I do think that people that I think there's some truth to that. Like people that are earning really good money, they sometimes, you know, we talk about losing touch with reality. I'm not saying they lose touch with reality, but they start to forget or think that everybody's just kind of earning the same money as them.
Yeah.
And then they forget that actually you are a high earner, you know, somebody's not earning as much as you. You kind of become like almost like it's like a subconscious that you're not noticing you're doing it, but you're doing it. Yeah.
And it does sound like she's kind of literally thinking, oh, he's earning more money and he's inviting me to these things. I can't really afford it. So there's difference here, right? It's a difference if she can afford it, but she just doesn't like it.
Yeah.
So like for me, that would be the case.
Yeah,
like I can afford to go out for, you know, food and stuff and drinks. That's no problem. I have no problem paying for it financially. Obviously, you know, unless it's like something ridiculous.
Yeah.
But if it's like a normal restaurant, great, no problem. But do I find it attractive if the guy I'm dating is like, so should we split for every single, like I get it if it's like super fucking expensive or we're doing a trip and whatever it is.
Yeah.
But if it's like for every single thing, it's like we can just take turns. Like you could pay, I could offer to pay.
Yeah.
Like, you know, that could be fine. But it's just so, I don't know. It's giving, again, everyone has a different preference. Yeah. It's fine if you think it's fine to split. Yeah. If both of you are fine with it, great. Whatever works for you.
Yeah, but I definitely think I do think, and I'm a person that also I don't mind splitting sometimes, but again, not all the fucking time. Like, you know what? If you're dating me and you're my boyfriend, like, take me out sometimes. I'm gonna take you out sometimes. You know, like, granted, if there's like a random Friday we don't feel like cooking and we're like, hey, let's just like order takeout. Yeah, we'll split it, or I'll just be like, I'll fucking pay for it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like I feel like that piece is like super tacky. I don't know. That's why I think it's like hard sometimes. Like, you know, I think about like, I say, oh, it doesn't matter how much somebody's earning because you kind of, but at the same time, it's like
when have you ever said it doesn't matter how much someone's earning?
A few times on this podcast.
Well, that was a lie.
Play the replay. But I mean,
of course it matters how much someone's earning. Let's not be naive here.
Yeah. It impacts a lot of things.
It impacts like so many things. Yeah. That's the thing. Most people will date within their, income bracket for a reason, right? It's not because it's like, oh, it's like for whatever reason. It's like, first of all, most likely you're going to meet someone of your income bracket. Second of all the things that you do, everything is about money.
Exactly. Like, because people in certain income brackets are going to be doing certain things. And like, for example, like, you know, we like to travel and do this stuff. If somebody's not in the same income bracket, if they're in a higher one, great. If they're in a lower one though, and they can't afford to do
or if someone's in a really high one and they want to go on a private jet and do all this crazy shit, we can't do it. Exactly. That's going to be a problem for them.
I'll be like, sorry, I can't afford it.
Like, unless they pay for me.
Exactly. If you want to pay for me on a private jet, then go for it.
Oh God, no, we're against private jets, Daniel.
Yes, that's right. Oh, it is a young couple though. Oh, this makes it even more interesting. My fiance and I rarely have sex. The problem, I am a 23-year-old female and my fiance is a 24-year-old male. We're about to get married in 2 months. We've been together for 4 years. Our sex life has never been the best, but it's gotten much worse.
What?
Right now, we haven't had sex in over a month, and we typically have sex once a month, maximum 2 times a month. Personally, I need it more than this, and right now I'm just confused, annoyed, and hurt. I'm hurt because I feel like he doesn't love me. I feel like he's not attracted to me, and I feel ugly. Ugh. I'm annoyed because I asked him to go to the doctor to get blood drawn to find. I asked him to go to the doctor to get blood drawn. His testosterone levels were normal. All his other tests were also in the normal range. Whenever we have sex, afterwards he'll ask, "Why don't we do this more often?"
What the fuck?
He always promises me that we'll have sex the next day. I get ready for it, but then he says he's too tired. I have started asking him if we can have sex, but he gets annoyed and says he feels like I'm pressuring him, which I don't want to make him feel that. Yet, if I never ask or mention it, we will not have sex for weeks.
What?
I'm confused because I have talked to him seriously about this multiple times already. He keeps telling me that he loves me and he's attracted to me and he thinks I'm sexy, but also says that he wants to have sex more often, but nothing ever changes. As I said, we have had serious talks about this topic, and he's opened up to me and says he doesn't feel confident in his body. Oh. So I persuaded him to go to the gym with me. We now go 5 to 6 times a week and have started a nutritional plan with a personal trainer. He loves it. We've been doing it for almost 6 months now. It's lovely to see him more confident in his body. He's losing weight and says he feels much better, yet nothing has changed. I get that he's not fully confident and wants to keep working at it, but still. Oh, and he's also denied me twice when I've been in the lingerie.
Oh, no.
His excuse is always he's too tired. Dude, he's 20.
You're 24.
You're 24. What the
Buddy,
fuck?
get your shit together.
I don't know. I'm just fed up because whenever I say I want to have sex, he tells me that I'm pressuring him and he just wants it to come naturally. But it seems like it doesn't come naturally and we need to plan for it. Anyway, I'm beginning to realize that I shouldn't base my self-worth on all of this. I now realize that I'm not ugly. I can be sexy. This isn't a me problem. It's a him problem. I'm also just looking for advice from both sides.
This is a serious issue.
This be an issue. Okay. First of all, y'all are 23 and 24 years old. Like, I don't know about,
for the guy.
I know. I don't know about you, but I mean, I'm sure you were too. When I was 24, let me tell you.
I think guys especially.
Yeah.
Like the guys in their like teens and maybe like 20s.
Yeah.
Are like.
Super horny.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like you, like a breeze will go past your face and you're like, oh, well, you're like fucking aroused. Like, it's crazy.
Okay. First of all, why are you engaged? I'm so confused. The thing is, someone said this, and I think it's very true. If your sex life is good in a relationship, it's about 20% of the relationship.
Right.
If your sex life is bad, it's 80% of the relationship. Meaning, when your sex life is bad, it's a huge problem.
Right.
Whereas if your sex life is good, it's a good thing, but it's not going to be like the only thing that keeps a relationship going.
Actually,
do you know what I'm saying?
That's really good. I love that. So good sex makes up 20% of your relationship.
Yes, but if your sex life is bad, it becomes a huge problem. So it's going to be 80% of the relationship.
And I think it's probably because obviously, if your sex life is bad, you're not getting things that you need, which is going to make you more cranky, which is going to make you question, like she was questioning, like, am I sexy?
Exactly.
Am I this? That's going to impact confidence levels, other parts of the relationship.
Exactly.
Yeah, it like kind of snowballs.
God.
Whereas if the sex is good, but then other parts of the relationship are really shitty, it's not going to make up for it.
Exactly. That's what it means. So essentially, I feel like I think it's so important, like when you have sexual compatibility, like especially before marriage. Like we're talking, these are young people.
Young.
Okay, first of all, you should not be getting married. You are way too fucking young. Okay.
Yeah.
Date around some more. Okay. And second of all, when you're that, like when you're already having so many issues before marriage, chances are it's not going to get better after marriage.
But the ironic thing is with that, Rose, is I do feel like so many people, they're like, oh, our relationship is shit right now. Marriage will make it better. Oh, our relationship is we're really struggling right now. Let's have a baby. Like it's like I don't get this, like, but it happens so often.
Yeah,
where couples, so much so that like that movie The Lobster takes parody of this. Right. So many people, for whatever reason, and I've never been in this situation, so maybe you're glazed over with love. If
I were to be in that mindset, I think the mindset is when we decide to be committed to each other with marriage, we will maybe potentially become better. They think that there's like an imaginary world in which once they decide to commit, you will both behave better.
Yeah.
But obviously that's not the case.
Exactly. It's crazy to me. Like this is definitely, I think that you guys should not be engaged. I think that what you need to do, I'm not saying break up, but what you need to do is you guys need to see like a relationship counselor or something, or deal with it. It could be that like legitimately this guy does have problems with his libido. Like
yes, a lot of people do.
Exactly. So it could be, I remember I watched, God, I can't remember what the show was, but it was about couples like reconnecting them and stuff.
Right.
And I don't know why some things you just remember. And there was this gay couple and they were together. They'd been together for like 5 years or something. And the one guy, like they were struggling with sex because the one guy, he wanted sex all the time, like literally like 24/7. The other guy was like this. He's like once a month is good for me, right? And so the counselor like worked with them and was like, okay, you need to start like balancing each other out here. Like you need to calm down a little bit with the sex and you need to like increase it. And they did all these like exercises.
Did it help?
And it did. Because like, for example, like one of the things she got the guy that didn't have a lot of like sexual desire to do is she told him that he has to try to like masturbate more often.
Oh, to increase the desire.
Increase it, make things like, all this stuff.
Get the blood pumping.
Remember, all this kind of stuff. And it did help. And it like helped him become more wanting to have sex more often.
Oh.
And then the other partner, I can't remember what she did. But again, it's like finding that balance, right? Because there are naturally some people like crave sex a lot more than others. Yeah. And then some people are like a little bit less like, hey, once a month is okay for me. But you have to balance with your partner, right?
Yeah. Either you're incompatible and decide this is not going to work, or you have to find some kind of a balance, depending on how important this is to you as well.
Exactly. But here's some of the comments. I'm not saying break up, but don't get married. Your relationship easily has a deal-breaking flaw. Don't involve the government unless y'all figure this out. Personally, I couldn't be in a relationship with that little sex, and you've been trying to communicate it with him. You wouldn't be at fault for breaking up with him.
Yeah, see, that's another thing. Because at first I was like, again, have you not talked to your partner about this?
But she has.
But she clearly has. They've obviously talked about it. And he's not giving any... It seems like he's not trying, which... again, if he's just has a has a bad libido or a weak libido or whatever, then that's fine. But the way he's saying it is not very honest and
and he'll be like, oh, I agree with you. I want to have sex more. But then if she doesn't initiate it, it won't happen for weeks.
Oh, God. And as a woman, especially, that's not, a good thing.
Well, for any partner, it's like you part of like having sex is like feeling desire.
Exactly.
And if your partner is not giving you that, you're like, okay, like, am I undesirable?
Am I ugly?
Do you not want to be with me? Yeah. Like there's so many things that start going through your head.
Totally. Especially if it's happening on a regular basis.
Yeah. And like and then you talk to your partner and then like, yeah, I want sex more too.
But then actions speak louder than words.
Exactly. Imagine your partner says this to you, like, I want to have sex more, then doesn't have sex with you. And you're like, okay, well, what am I doing wrong here? Who are they having sex with?
Exactly. That's another thing, right? Yeah. You'd be thinking all kinds of things.
Yeah. So here's some other comments. You two are way too young to have a dead bed bedroom.
Yes.
He's too tired for sex, but not too tired for the gym. ? That doesn't make sense. Sounds to me he's either watching too much porn and jacking off all the time, or he just has a really low libido.
Yeah.
Another person put, my first thought is that he may have like that maybe depression. He may need to take a more thorough medical examination.
Ultimately, they cannot get married.
Yeah.
This is a disaster.
That's what so many people are. You love him, but figure this out before marriage, girl.
Yeah. Also, you're too young. Like, what are you doing? 23? You don't need to get married.
I know. Exactly. Like,
I mean, again, even if everything felt perfect and everything was amazing, I would caution against getting married at 23. Yeah. But especially if you're already having so many issues,
exactly,
especially in the bedroom at 23, why are you thinking of getting married?
Exactly. Listen to this.
Oh, God.
I'd recommend postponing the marriage if a date is on the calendar. About 25 years ago, in this almost identical situation, I did not, and I'm still paying the price for it.
Oh.
I wasn't attracted to my wife physically and confused a friendship as attraction. She'd complain, I'd make things up, and did not deal with the real issue. And then the original poster said, this is what I'm worried about. But like, if he's not attracted to me, I guess that's okay. I can't do anything about that, but I need him to tell me that because I will want to find someone that is. I've asked him, but he keeps telling me that he's attracted to me.
Well, it doesn't matter what he's telling you because how you feel is very important.
Exactly.
So if he's not making you feel attractive, I think that's another problem.
So 2 more comments and then we'll move on. So one of them is, please do not marry. Just because it's paid for, you just have to put a price on your needs and your happiness. Paying later is much more expensive.
Yeah.
The last one is, well, there's someone that says, is he secretly gay? That's interesting. I was thinking that as well.
That could be a potential.
Yeah.
I think that actually the comment about how like her husband or he wasn't attracted to the wife, that could be also a potential.
Yeah, could be.
We don't know.
Exactly. The other person puts, your fiance is either asexual, watching too much porn, or banging another woman on the side. There's also the chance that he's completely lost attraction to you.
Yep. All those are possibilities.
Exactly.
Either way, it's not going to fucking work if you get married.
And then like, honestly, also like he just needs to be honest with her. Like,
yeah, he sounds like he's just beating around the bush.
Exactly. Stop being like, oh, well, yeah, we should have sex more. And I'm really, you know, and then like, it doesn't happen for months. Like, I'm sorry, you're 24 years old. Like as a 24-year-old man, like unless there's some kind of medical or depression or something else going on, like you are horny.
Oh, God.
God damn.
That is, that's sad. Oh, God.
We got time for one more, Rose.
God damn, just one more. Okay. Oh, this one. Okay. What am I doing wrong? I feel like a piece of meat. I'm a 35-year-old female. I feel like I'm getting ripped off in the dating world. Why is it that every time I go on a first date, it goes so well? The guy is a perfect gentleman, respectful, and everything else. But by the second date, he is bringing up sex or trying to get me to sleep with him. I went on a second date with a guy last night. The first date was awesome. He was a perfect gentleman. We did kiss twice, but that was it. The second date started off great, but towards the end, he told me, I want to fuck you on top of that bar table right now. Like, what the fuck? This was even after I told him that the last guy I went on a date with ghosted me after he tried and failed to sleep with me. He could tell my vibe changed and that I was irritated. After he said that, he asked what I was thinking about and I said not sex or something like that. Why would he think that's okay? I'm not even thinking about that topic on a second date. Not even going to lie. I had a good cry on my way home in the car. And once I got home, because this has been my reality since I started dating. Every single date, every single guy. I'm starting to feel like I'm not good enough for more than just sex. This is a horrible feeling and it's really eating me alive. All I want is for someone to genuinely want to get to know me For me, sex will come later. Sex is definitely important, but I'm not going to hop into bed because you bought me dinner, drinks, or whatever. Am I being uptight and prude or what? What am I doing wrong? I want to be seen as a relationship material.
God damn.
What do you think?
Well, again, I don't know this situation, but, you know, quite often when people are having these kind of experiences, it's because maybe they're and we've seen this in some like dating shows and stuff. It's like they have a specific type that they go for.
Yes, I was just gonna say.
And I think what her challenge might be is maybe she's like going for this specific type of guy.
Yep.
That is more like maybe like one of the banking bros or something.
Yes,
you know, like
exactly.
the finance, you know, like
There's
finance
a pattern.
bro. Yeah.
There's probably a pattern.
Yeah. So that could be part of it. It could not be, but that's my first thought process is like you're going out with dates with these similar types of guys that are probably doing the similar things to you.
Yes.
And the other thing is too, is like the way she's like reflecting on it, like, you know, she's been on some shitty dates, it sounds like, and that a lot of people are like pressuring her for certain things, for sex, not certain
for
things,
very specific
for
thing.
a very specific thing. And it's like, you know, don't lump everybody into that category and don't think to yourself like, oh, I'm just wanting, you know, these guys are just wanting me for sex. I mean, it sounds like the guys you're dating are.
Yes.
But
let's not say every guy.
Exactly. Like you've been on shitty dates. There's so many people out there.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Like,
yeah.
You know.
There's plenty of men. Like yes, there's going to be men that are going to pressure
try to get
you
in your
into
pants.
sex.
Always.
Definitely. That's happened to me. That's happened to many people.
It happened to me. Everybody has experience because like, you know, people try to get in people's pants.
But I would say that more often than not, when I go on a first date, most men, or even a second date, they're fine. Like they're not going to pressure me. So again, it could be that she's picking the wrong guys. Yeah. That's a huge thing, right? Or I don't know. Like I don't know what kind of conversation they're having. Yeah. Are you telling them straightforward, like I want a relationship, not just sex? Like, you know, is there more of that? You know, maybe that needs to be communicated.
I think that's a part of it too. I think there's some breakdown in communication. And again, I'm not saying because it could be some of the guys she's going out with are just douches.
It could be.
But also, you're right. Like, are you putting it up front there that you're, you know, does your dating profile say, you know,
looking for something casual? I don't know what it
exactly
says.
What does it say? Like, you know, exploring my options, you know, or whatever it might be. Or is it like I'm looking for a long-term relationship? So like, and are you very strong and communicative? It does sound like she was. Like the guy, the most recent one, she had told him about the other guy that tried to like, you know, hook up with her, and then he tried to do it as well. So
yeah.
Like, who are you dating, girl?
I don't know.
Because like I've had it happen a couple times. Like, I remember that guy that pushed me into an alley and tried to like fucking. I don't even know what was going on there. Well, I do. Yeah. But like, you know, I've had it, but it hasn't been every single person.
No, not every single person. And maybe she's exaggerating. Maybe it's just like the last couple guys that she went out with. Yeah. And she's feeling a little bit shitty.
She's feeling down about it. She'd be like, fuck, like.
I don't know. Like.
What be happening?
I don't know. What are you guys doing?
I think my strongest feeling is that she is going for a certain type of guy.
I think so.
You know, like a certain look, a certain type, a certain like, you know, like, you know how some girls are like, oh, I like, you know, I like to date like hockey guys.
Yes.
You know, and then maybe they treat her a certain way, you know?
Exactly. So I think so. So, I don't know what this means.
What people be saying.
I don't think you're doing anything wrong. I think old attracts a high proportion of men like this. I don't know what old is. OLD. I don't know, whatever. But men who aren't like that are out there. I just started. What the fuck? What is old?
I know.
Online dating, maybe?
That's what it is, yeah.
I just started dating a lady I met on Facebook dating, and I think she's like you in terms of not wanting to rush into sex, blah, blah, blah. Okay, again, I don't think it's dating apps, period. Okay, again, like we've both been on many dating app dates.
Yep.
And there's been plenty of times, again, yes, there's been times when the guys clearly just wanting, you know.
Wanted to fuck.
But, you know, as long as you are clear.
Yeah.
In what you are not willing to do.
Exactly. And at the end of the day, you don't have to fuck if you don't want to.
And ultimately at the end of the day, also, like, here's the thing. The guy may always try. Yeah. But how you react is a different situation. Obviously, the guy shouldn't be forceful and all that stuff. Yeah. But usually, even if he's a gentleman, he might try to, you know, do a little bit, you know, get in there a little bit.
Just the tip.
My God. So again,
it's never just the tip, folks.
Yeah. And again, I feel like maybe, again, I don't know, maybe don't take it so personally. I hate saying that because then it's like blaming her, but it's like, I get if you're upset and if that's like behavior that you don't want, then you should cut him off. But I feel like she's taking it too personally almost. Like, yes, the fact that the guy said that, for example, like, oh, I want to fuck you on the bar or whatever. I would be more like, ugh. Turned off. Like, exactly. I'd be like, okay, I don't want to date this guy. Rather than thinking, what's wrong with me?
Exactly.
Why is he saying it to me?
Exactly. I think she needs to stop reflecting inwards.
Yes.
I mean, obviously it's important to also reflect inwards.
Yeah,
but
you
like,
can also see what you're doing in your patterns.
Exactly. But I think like when somebody says that, you're right. Like for me, if I was on that date and the guy was like, I don't know, that wouldn't necessarily be such a turn off. I'd be like,
go to the bathroom. Daniel? You're like, I want to fuck you too on that bar.
I'd be like, well, if this is an empty bar, let me tell you.
Yeah, so everyone's different, right? Maybe that was his way of flirting. Who the fuck knows?
Exactly. So I think, like, again, don't take it as personal. And again, like, I think if somebody is doing something like for example, if I went on a date and the guy's like super cheap and super like all this stuff, then that's going to be a turn off for me. And I'm not going to reflect on me and be like, oh, why am I attracting all these guys? It's going to be like, I don't want to date this guy.
Yes.
On to the next, you know?
I'm going to say something that might be a little bit controversial. How are you presenting yourself? I hate saying that.
Rose,
well, I'm not saying
victim blaming.
I'm not victim. No one's a victim here. No one's getting,
I know. I'm just
assaulted.
Kidding. Yeah.
I'm just saying, again, how are you presenting yourself? What are your pictures like? Are you showing that you want to, I'm not saying you can't show skin. Like, I'm all about showing skin. Great. Yeah. Fantastic. Love summer. I want to be naked. Great.
That's true. I can verify that. No.
But I'm saying, like, again, if you want, let's say you want a certain job. If you want a corporate job, what do you wear to the interview?
Yeah.
These things are important. Yeah. Okay. I hate saying that because, again, like, just because you're wearing something doesn't mean that your intentions are somewhere, whatever. But, the world sees differently, right? Yeah. Like, the world is judgmental. The world is going to see your pictures and people are going to have judgment. Same with you. You're going to have judgment. If the guy is, fucking has like tattoos all over and is wearing like fucking, what do you call, wife beater shirt, you're going to have a certain judgment about that person, whether or not it is true.
Yeah.
So that's another factor that you might want to consider when you are dating. Again, I don't know what it is. Maybe she's completely, I'm just completely
like, are
off the
your
mark.
Pictures on super low cut V-neck shirts?
Are you partying in every picture? Like
doing shots?
Yeah. We don't know. Oh, goddamn. Yeah. It's like, are you being overly sexual in your pictures? Because in that case, again, this doesn't justify anyone doing anything, but people might assume that you're a sexual person and you want to do sexual things.
Exactly.
That's a fair assumption.
Yeah.
Or are you showing up in like business attire and people are still saying this then? Like, fuck what I just said. Yeah. But that's another thing that you might want to take into consideration.
Exactly. There's many different factors, right? But I think the biggest takeaway for her is like, stop blaming yourself. Like in terms of like, thinking like, what, am I just in the meat market and blah, 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 blah. All these guys are the same. First of all, not all the guys are the same. There are some good guys out there.
Yeah.
What you're right. Look at reflect on, first of all, what kind of guys are you looking for and what kind of guys are you matching with? Like, are these guys that are saying in their profile, like, not looking for anything serious and you're still going on a date with them? Like, look at that. Also, you're right. Like, what image are you putting out there? What do your pictures look like? Like, when you're on the dates, what are you doing? Like, there's different things. Like, what messages are you giving?
Yeah.
Are you like doing shots and getting a little bit drunk on the date and stuff? Like, we don't know.
Which is fine.
Yeah, which is fine to do. Yeah.
This might be why people are being, whatever. Mm-hmm. Let's read some comments.
Okay, let's see. None
of it is your fault. It is how, God, I hate online dating. Apparently it's now, guys.
Old.
OLD.
Yeah.
It is how online dating is based on my own experience. 28 male. It's a combination of 2 to 3 factors. Guys meet women who will happily sleep with guys in 1 to 2 dates, usually with girls who either have a high sex drive or are going through a hoe phase. Okay. Another problem is that guys face a lot of rejection, and the pain of rejection is worse the more dates you go on with the same person. If you're a guy, you're often the one footing the bill on the date, which means that there is both material and emotional impact of investing too much into one person. Blah, blah, blah. So basically, the reality is that the guys you end up with end up really liking a lot on apps, want to go on dates, have a lot of experience, both positive and negative.
I hate how this poster, though, I hate this double standard. Like, if a girl has like a hot girl summer, a bit promiscuous, she's going through her hoe phase. But what if a guy's doing it? There's no name for it. It's like, okay.
He's just being a guy.
Yeah. I guess his hoe phase then.
Yeah. So somebody said, oh my God, you're doing nothing wrong. So many women, unfortunately, go through this experience, I found, whether they're 19 or 39, me included, when I was single, blah, blah, blah. Here are a few tips. Trust your intuition. If it's too good to be true, there's something off. Blah, blah, blah. And then she said, let's see. And even if you say they were a perfect gentleman, there's always something off that we may refuse to see just because we're focused on the outcome, aka a relationship. Okay, interesting. So a lot of people are saying like this is normal. I don't know.
Well, I don't think it's a standard. Like, you know what? There's so many people out there. Again, I think there's multiple different factors.
Yes. Yeah. I think what we said is correct.
Yes. Valid.
We had a very nuanced opinion. I think that yes, a lot of men will probably want to try to get it in if they can. They're gonna shoot their shot, whatever. Yep. Quite literally sometimes.
Just a tip.
But it's up to you how you want to respond to that. If you really just hate that, then maybe put in your profile, or I don't know how they're made, how she's meeting people, but most likely it's on an app. Yeah. Put in your profile, I'm not interested in casual sex, or I'm not interested in, and maybe that will weed out a bunch of people.
Some of these people. Exactly. I think that's a really good point.
Right? That's another thing you could do. It's like, again, it's not this person's fault
at all. It's not her fault, but like, again, you can try to like increase your chances of meeting the people that are more in line with what you believe in. Right.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Anyways,
on that positive note,
that brings us to the end of the dating advice
from two experts. So, two seasoned experts.
Yes, seasoned experts indeed.
Yeah. So guys, if you're watching this video on YouTube, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, show us some love in the comment section down below. Maybe give your 2 cents on what you thought about these relationships.
Are we right? Are we wrong? Did I victim shame?
Did Rose victim shame today?
Was I victim shaming?
Also, don't forget to hit follow on whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on. That way, as soon as new episodes are released, you get them right away. You get updated. And what else, Rose?
Make sure you follow us on or join us on Patreon, patreon.com/The SaVeg Podcast. Again, you get bonus content every single month, only exclusive to Patreon members. You get ad-free content, and you get the episodes a week earlier than everybody else. So make sure you join. It's patreon.com/The SaVeg Podcast. The link is always in the show notes or the description.
Yes.
All right, you guys, thank you so much for listening, and we'll talk to you guys next week.
Bye.